Namo Doi Savayantanam, Namo Doi Savayantanam, Namo Doi Savayiriyam, Namo Doi Savajayam, Namo Doi Savatrikavati Savanam, Omkara Mindu Sanyukta Nityam Jayanti Yogina, Kamadam Mokshadam Sri Omkara Namo, Mangalam Bhagavanayo, Mangalam Rupamohi, Mangalam Kunkundari, Ujendram Bosu, Mangalam Namasana Dispada, Swanubhutya Jatha Sthiti Swadhay Bhavaya Sarvama.
Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Ariyantanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Siddhanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Aryanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Ujjayanam. Om Namo Loe Sarvatrikavarti Shamanam. Om Karam Bindu Sanyuktam Nityam Dhayanti Yoginam Kamadam Moksadam Chaiva Om Karaya Namo Namah. Nama Samaysaraya Swanubhutya Chakasate Chitsabhavaya Bhavaya Sarva Bhavantarachite Ajnanatimirandanam Gnana Anjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Tirthankaro Jagatana Jayavanta Varto Omkaranada Jinana Jayavanta Varto Jinna Samo Sarana Sau Jayavanta Varto Ne Tirthachara Jagama Jayavanta Varto Namo E Tirthanayakane Namo Omkaranadane Omkara Sangarutene Namo Te Sri Kunda Kundane Aho Upakara Jinavarano Kundano Dvani Divyano Jina Kunda Dvani Apya Aho Te Guru Kanano Aho Te Bhagavati Matano Dhruva Achalane Anupamagati Pamel Sarve Siddhane Mandikamo Sutta Kevali Bhasita Asamaya Prabhata Are Eka Suddha Sada Arupi Jnana Darshanamay Khare Kai Anyate Marujari Paramanu Matra Nathi Are Jam Netrate Maj Jnana Nati Karaka Nati Vedaka Are Jane Jakaramodaya Nirajara Bandate Maj Mokshane Om Namah Siddhivya Om Namah Siddhivya Om Sri Suddha Mane Namaha. Jai Jayendra. Today is May 10th, 2017, Wednesday, and we are continuing our discussion on Samaysar. We have finished so far with 11th stanza, and today we are going to start 12th stanza. So far in 11th stanza, as we see, lots and lots of time that we spent, because that was an extremely important stanza for our base building. And as we understand it pretty well now, what exactly 11th stanza mean, now we come to 12th stanza. Kunkun Swami has done an absolute great job of flowing through one stanza to other stanza, and he gives us a really nice way to go into the subject. So first we'll recite 11th stanza, just recitation, that what it talked about, and then we just come to 12th stanza. So let me start 11th stanza first here. I'll sing in Gujarati. Vyavaharanaya abhutartha darsita suddhanaya bhutartha che bhutarthane asrita jiva sudrashti nishaya hoya che. And we went through in extreme detail what it said. If you want to say in a couple of minutes, what 11 stanza said, that Vyavaharna Abhutar Dasit Sudhana Bhutar. That Vyavaharna is wrong, conventional point of view is wrong, and absolute point of view is right. In second stanza, he said, Bhutatne asrita jeev sudrashti nishchay hoy chhe. One who takes refuge in the absolute point of view, he has a perfect vision. His faith is perfect. Means his faith is directed to internal soul. So, 11th stanza said, conventional point of view is wrong and absolute point of view is right, and one has to follow absolute point of view only. And then Kunkun Swami said, what is conventional point of view? And he divided into those 4 divisions and everything. We went through a lot and everything. So I am not the conventional point of view. I'm the absolute point of view, and all those things that we learn in 11th stanza. Having said that, now Kunkun Swami takes turn on the other side and says, wait a second. I talk to you that the absolute point of view is only the thing to take the refuge in, and conventional point of view is to be negated. Then suddenly he realizes that maybe it may give a wrong impression to the reader. So now he comes to 12th stanza. In 12th stanza, what does he say? 12th stanza. Let me bring the 12th here. In 12th stanza, he says, Dekhe param jay bhavatene suddhana yagnatavya che aparam bhave sthitane vyavaharano upadesa che. This stanza also carries a significant meaning because there is lots of misconception occurred because of this 12th stanza in the Mumukshu society. What it says, I'll share the screen so with the slide, so that will become easier. So we will see. Okay, so what it says in Samaysar stanza 12, the first thing comes is a upodgat, means the beginning of the stanza, the heading of the stanza. હવે એ વ્યવહારનો પણ કોઈ કોઈને કોઈ વખતે પ્રયોજનવાન છે. The heading itself is a very, very powerful heading. In the previous stanza, it said that convention point of view is to be disregarded, it's wrong, it's to be made secondary in all the things. And now suddenly Kunkun Acharya Dev takes turn and says, wait a second, the convention point of view is also useful. So he is trying to balance the things on both ways, talking about his absolute point of view in such a great detail. And he convinced us, and we got so much work. This is only the thing I would like to do it. This is what I would like to achieve, and that's all. And convention point of view is to be made so secondary, but quote unquote making secondary, one forgets also that there is convention point of view. Not to have that forgetfulness, not to have that misconception. Kunkun Acharya Dev added this stanza. But when he added this stanza, then suddenly amongst the mumuksus, the wrong concepts started coming up. And what they said that, look, what is this? Look, Kunkun Acharya Dev says that Yavarne means convention point of view is also important. And so one has to follow convention point of view also. So now Gurudev Sri went through an exhaustive way, and he found out what exactly Kunkun Acharya Dev meant while he wrote this stanza. So again, this stanza is, we'll read the Prakrit original one and then Gujarati. Suddho Suddha Deso णदवो परम भाव दरिसिहिम व्यवहार देसी दापुजी दूप अपरमे दिद्दा भावे देखे परम जे भाव तेने शुद्ध नय ज्ञातव्य छे अपरम भावे स्थितने व्यवहारनो उपदेश छे. That means the stanza, two lines are extremely simple. One who has engrossed into the eternal soul substance, for that one, pure point of view is important. But those people who are not engrossed into the soul substance, then for them convention point of view is important. So that kind of message comes over here, and people started dissecting in their own way and said, listen, this is what it is. Convention point of view is important. Conventional point of view is to be followed, and conventional point of view will lead to absolute point of view. That kind of misconception started in Mumuksha Samaj. So that's that's why Gurudev Gurudev Sri explain in detail that no, not necessarily go in the detail what Amrit Chandracharya wrote down the commentary on it. Read the commentary, understand the commentary, and see what he is trying to tell. So this is the Gatharth. I'll just read, but then we are going to go through it later on. Je Suddhanai Sudhi Pahunchi Sadhavan Thaya Tatha Purna Gnan Charitravan Thai Gaya તેમને તો શુદ્ધ નહીંનો ઉપદેશ આજ્ઞા કરનાર શુદ્ધ નહીં જાણવા યોગ્ય છે. વળી જે જીવો અપરમ ભાવે અર્થાત શ્રદ્ધા તથા જ્ઞાન ચારિત્રના પૂર્ણ ભાવને નથી પહોંચી શક્યા, સાધક અવસ્થામાં સ્થિત છે, તેઓ વ્યવહાર દ્વારા ઉપદેશ કરવા યોગ્ય છે. Those who have achieved the ultimate, those who have gone to 13 gun sthanak, those who have become omniscient Lord, for that thing he just knew that for the pure point of view, he was able to get engrossed in himself, and that's it. So he has to know that one only. He just knows the pure point of view. In the 11th stanza, it's a pure point of view, pure point of view, pure point of view. You have to follow pure point of view. But over here, it says, okay, now with the pure point of view, you achieve the ultimate 13th spiritual development stage. Omniscience knowledge, you got it. All the toxic emotions are wiped out completely. So for him, pure point of view is just for the knowledge sake that, yeah, it was there. But those who are the aspirant soul from the 4th spiritual stage to the 12th spiritual stage, for them, the Vyawar Dvara Updesh Karva Yogesha means for them, conventional point of view is to be advised. So this kind of, it just gives little confusing in the beginning for us. The meaning of the stanza is not clear right now in our mind. That what is Acharya Dev trying to tell us? But when we go through the stanza, then we know what he wanted to talk about. This is Tika, which is a Amrit Chandra Acharya wrote down in Sanskrit, and it was made the Gujarati version. And then there is a Bavar that Jaychandji Chabra about 3-4 century back he wrote down. So those are the things we'll be going. So now we are coming to introduction to the stanza, which is called Upodghat. Upodghat means it is a heading of the stanza. Exactly what I'm trying to say, that's what Acharya Bhagwan says in this one. Atha cha kesha astrit kadachit sopi pravajanvan yataha. હવે વ્યવહારને પણ કોઈને કોઈ વખતે પ્રયોજનવાન છે, means this convention point of view is important to some person sometimes. What does that mean? We'll have to go through a few bullets for that. Conventional point of view is always associated with absolute point of view. These are the things we learned by heavy way in 11th stanza, that only the way conventional point of view can be labeled as conventional point of view if it is only associated with absolute point of view. In short, absolute point of view means experiencing the soul. So, did I experience the soul? No. But am I doing all the religious parameter practice the way it is being taught by the our teachers and everything? Am I doing scripture reading, worshipping, donation, charity, and all those things? Am I doing all those things? Those are called convention point of view only if I have experiencing of the soul. That means if I'm on a fourth spiritual development stage and onwards. Now, we don't have that. Do I have experiencing of the soul? Well, if the answer is no, then no matter how much spiritual reading I'm doing, how much worshipping I'm doing, and all those things, how much charity I'm doing, all those things means nothing. I'm doing lots and lots and lots of religious activity, and the other person is not doing anything. So he has 1 0, and I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 zeros with me. Value for both are 0. If this kind of practice does not lead me to experiencing of my soul substance, that means the person who is doing total inauspicious activities, and I'm doing lots of auspicious activity here. When we come to 145 stanza onward, Punya Pap Adhikar, Acharya Bhagwan will say inauspicious activity or auspicious activity without absolute point of view, without experiencing of the soul, is 0, means nothing. You mean all the things I'm doing every day, I'm doing week after week after week after month after years, I do all this religious activity, and you are telling me it means 0? We have to understand what it means. So when I don't have actual experiencing of my soul, and whatever I'm doing, the Swadhay I'm doing, listening to Gurudev's pravachan I'm doing, reading the scripture I'm doing, trying to follow the norms, well, all those things, they lead me towards going into the experiencing of the soul. But it has to lead me to the experiencing of the soul. Otherwise, it has no value. No value means, okay, I did so much austerity, I did so much Swadhyay, I did so much worshipping, I did so much charity, all those things I did. I'm observing non-violence as minutely as possible. I'm not stealing, I'm not lying, I'm observing chastity, I am trying to control my possession. All those things I'm doing, they are preparing the groundwork for me. They are preparing groundwork for me. For example, the two people have fields, 2 acres of land, each one has it. One guy has done nothing on his field, and other guy did all those things. He cleaned the land out completely, he plowed the land completely, he kept everything ready, he kept the water sprinkler and everything ready. but then he forgot to put the seeds. Other guy also did not put seeds. This guy also did not put seeds. What happens? Nothing gets grown after the season is over. So if this guy over here who plowed the land, put the water sprinkler, he took the garbage out and also put the seed inside, then the crops will come out. If you don't, if all these things you do to put to ultimately to get the crops, so one has to go through all those things. So here also, when I don't have experiencing of the soul and I am doing all this activity, means I'm preparing myself. I'm making my eligibility getting ready to understand spirituality. To understand spirituality and then not only understand, but then to apply within. Understanding is one. First thing one has to understand. So that's a part we are doing by talking, by understanding that one. But after understanding, is it making my life kind of a smooth out towards the pathway to spirituality or not? That question only I can answer to myself. From outside, I may look an extremely religious guy, but then internally, I have no idea what the nature of the soul is. It's useless. So conventional point of view is always associated with the absolute point of view. The next bullet says, without absolute point of view, it is known as fallacy of conventional point of view. Means, if I don't have experiencing of the soul, then everything that I did cannot be called conventional point of view. And Gurudev Sri is very, very adamant about it. And lots of people came to him during the lifetime and says, Gurudev Sri, please, relax your norms. Gurudev says, no way, Jose. These are the facts, God-given facts, and I experience those facts, and I'm talking from my experience that I cannot just loosen up my attitude. So if I don't have absolute point of view, means experiencing of the soul, then whatever conventional point of view I'm doing, charity, austerity, worshipping, Swadhay, non-violence observation, not to steal, not to lie, celibacy, all those things what I do, they are called fallacy of convention point of view. I have to understand that part. Gurudev said, he did not say that don't do those things. Remember, only three things a soul can do, only three things. To get engrossed in the pure state of soul, which that means samyak darshan, which we don't have it. To be in an inauspicious state, to be in the auspicious state. Now, I don't have experiencing of the soul, so now I have only two choices remaining with me, to be in auspicious or inauspicious state. If I'm not in an auspicious state, then what's remaining for me? Do I do all the sinful act then? If I don't follow the norms say laid out in the spirituality, in the religious books, how to do austerity, how to do worshipping, how to do Swadhay, how to observe non-violence, all those principles. If I don't do it, then do I want to do inauspiciousness? No, that's not the intent. In front of Gurudev, few of the people came one time when Gurudev was in Bombay, and they said, Gurudev Sri, we live in Bombay, and so we have to get up very early in the morning, and then we have to catch the train from suburb, we have to go to downtown Bombay. It takes about an hour and a half or whatever time it takes to reach to the office. Then by 6 or 7 o'clock, we just finish the office, and by the time we come home, it's about 8:30 or so. And so we cannot do chovya. Gurudev said, really, you have a problem, real problem you have it. Now, if you want to do chovya, and you're missing doing chovya because of the lifestyle that you have accepted, give up that lifestyle. Go back to the basic. You'll be able to do chovya every day. The party who came to ask question, they wanted to have the answer that Gurudev will say, it's okay if you can't do chovya. Gurudev said, no. Leave Bombay. If Bombay is a problem, leave. So that kind of conviction he had it. So those are the things that we have to understand, that conventional absolute point of view is my aim, and to reach absolute point of view, I go through the process of conventional point of view, but absolute point of view is separate from conventional point of view. For example, if I decide to come to New York today and I left my house, and somebody called my house, my wife said, Kirit went to New York. Did I? I barely reached the airport right now. Again, somebody called. Well, he has gone to New York. I'm in the plane. Again, somebody called. I just landed in New York. Again, I'm not at your place. I came to your door. Till then, I'm not in your house. Of course, conventionally, it can be said that Kirit has gone to Ankit's home in New York. But till I press the bell, Ankit opens the door and I enter that house, then all those things from before can be called conventional point of view to achieve the absolute point of view of entering Ankit's house. Aim was entering his house. So we had to go through. But if I did not enter his house and I went to New York, I went to his area and I got lost and I never found his house. So all those things that started from my house to the airport, to New York, to taxi and all the things, it is useless. But you have to pass through those things. So conventional point of view is important in its own way. That's what it tries to say. Now, third bullet says, conventional point of view is useful to someone sometime. That's a crux of this gatha. What is conventional point of view useful to someone sometimes? And some people misread this one and said, oh, look here. It says you have to observe conventional point of view. Now it says, taking refuge in eternal soul, one obtains enlightenment. That we know that part very well from 11th stanza and 6th and 7th stanza. When I take refuge in the eternal soul, when with a pure point of view, I take a refuge in my eternal soul, that means I experience the eternal soul. And that means it's called enlightenment. That means now I'm called aspirant soul, sadhak jeev. Purity has just started. Purity has started. Previously it was total impurity was there. Now I had that purity started, so now I have partial purity, partial impurity present. Previously it was total impurity. Now purity just started, so there is part of the thing is purity, other part is still impure. So purity has just started, it's not complete yet. That means there is associative, milder form of inclination of attachment present. In myself, purity started means total impurity, and now purity started. So this milder form of rag and dvesh are present. We just say rag because dvesh is basically the inclination of attachment, inclination of aversion, inclination of aversion, we probably disregard, because one who has come to that level of enlightenment, then he doesn't have any bad feeling, affliction towards anybody. If at all he has a inclination of attachment, means he has a rag. So that's why whenever scripture says, Samaysar keeps on saying rag, 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 that means rag and dvesh both. You can't say, rag is not there and I have to keep the dvesh. No, rag means rag and dvesh combined together. So there is milder form of rag is still present. Now, those two last bullet, it says, someone. Someone means this type of person. Who is that someone? That someone is this type of person who has experienced his soul. That is that someone. It's not some random person from the street. Someone means somebody who has enlightenment, somebody who has experienced a soul, somebody who has started purity in his soul. So that guy is a someone. And what is sometimes? Sometimes means time and aspirant soul remains in this state. Remember, I'm in the fourth spiritual development state. Now, I'm going to have purity increases, impurity decreases, and that kind of activity when it occurs. And finally, I'm complete purity I achieve. That after that completely achieving that purity in absolute form, pure passionless state, thereafter this time is no more there. Means because that soul is in the forever in the bliss and the omniscience knowledge. So he doesn't need that. So someone means the one who has an enlightenment, and sometimes means starting from fourth spiritual development stage to 12th or 13th, up to 12th spiritual development stage. So those are the things we'll be talking more in detail. Now, we kept on saying purity starts, purity completes, then spiritual development state and all the things. So now I think it will be very appropriate at this point that we understand what is spiritual development stage, because these are the things going to come and we have to understand. So my purity starts and my purity gets completed. What does it mean? How do I give the names of a Gunsthanak to them? Gunsthanak means spiritual development state. So we will just revise those things and just understand where we are and what is happening. Before going that, there is one more bullet. Motive for this conventional point of view. Which conventional point of view? This guy sometimes and someone and sometimes. He remains with some increase of attachment along with his enlightenment. He has enlightenment here. He has enlightenment here. And he still has some increase of attachment present. This increase of attachment is called conventional point of view. Enlightenment is called absolute point of view. So this guy who has enlightenment and increase of attachment present, that kind of a guy, that kind of a person, that kind of aspirant soul, his motive for this conventional point of view is for knowing purpose only. Now, again, these are the things we are just taking little bits and bits from here and there, and all the detailed explanations will be coming as we progress. So, when I am into the aspirant state, I'm the aspirant soul, experiencing of the soul just started. Purity has just begun. Purity is not complete. So from here, still going here, that time, that area, I am partly into the pure form, partly into the impure form. And convention point of view, which is an impure form, is for knowing purpose. It doesn't need to be, it's not adorable purpose, just for knowing, yes, I have a rag present. I don't adore the rag present within me. Jannaro, janelo projanvan che, adrelo projanvan nathi. Means this convention point of view, and again this word came back before also. Convention point of view is, it's for knowing purpose only, not for adoration purpose, not for acceptance purpose. Now, in this convention point of view, this soul, in this convention point of view, this convention point of view, what does it do? He has a faith in the he has a faith in the faith and devotion towards the Dev Shastra Guru, means omniscient Lord, Holy Scripture, and enlightened monks. He has a faith and devotion towards that in that conventional point of view. He also reflected thoughts about his self. Remember, we talked about it, that primary abstract comprehension means nirvikalpta is my aim, and vikalp is reflective thoughts. Vikalp is a conventional point of view. So these states are for knowing purpose only. They're not to be adored. They're not for adoration purpose. They are for knowing purpose only. That yes, I'm passing through the state and everything, but I don't cling to that one. My aim is ultimately to go within. I want to improve myself. I want to be healthy again. And when I have a pneumonia right now, I will take injections. I don't like it. I will take the bitter medicine. I will swallow that. I don't like it. But they are necessary evil for me to obtain perfect health. So this convention point of view are necessary, even though I don't like them ultimately, because I like my complete pain-free pure health. I'm sick right now with pneumonia. So injections are to be taken, medicines to be taken. I have to just be careful what I eat and what I don't eat and everything. So those things, even though I don't like it, I have to pass through it. Similar way, enlightened soul, he uses all these things. 1 second, my battery is low. I have to put the electricity. I'll be back. Oh, it's here. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. So just like that, a sick guy does not like the treatment he's passing through, but it's important for him because they are one to lead him to the normal life. Same way here, this aspirant soul wants to be healthy in the form of complete pure state to be getting engrossed within. So for that thing, Dev Shastra Guru, faith and devotion will come. Omniscient Lord, Holy Scripture, and enlightened monks, I will have a faith and devotion, it will come. I'll have a reflective thought about my pure nature, everything. Those things will come, but ultimately I need to know them for knowing purpose, not to cling to them. Having said that, one does not discard this conventional point of view. It is present along with right faith state to the aspirant soul. Who has this convention point of view? Aspirant soul. Who is the aspirant soul? Who has experienced the eternal soul. Who is the, what does it mean? It means he has enlightened man. He has brought his faith from the alien object to the inner self. That kind of person he has an enlightenment, and with that thing, conventional point of view is present in the form of worshipping and adoration of omniscient Lord, Holy Scripture, and enlightened monk and everything. And also observing non-violence principle, also to be in the reflective thought about the nature of the soul, and all those goodies, they are present along with the right faith, means along with the absolute point of view. From this state, one progresses toward the complete passionless state. I was totally in the ignorant state since time infinite in the past. Now, with my personal effort, I just experienced my eternal soul and I knew who I am. That means purity has started. Now, I would like to build upon that purity and to increase my purity and keep on decreasing my impurity. That decreasing on impurity and increasing purity, ultimately I would like to have passionless state. Means I would like to have free from all the rag and dvesh. I would like to free from all the influence of attachment and influence of aversion. Nothing touches me at the time. Omniscient Lord or the liberated soul, they observe, they witness the whole universe, past, present, and future of every universal substances. But they have passionless state. They don't have liking or dislike. It doesn't say, Mahavir Swami's soul doesn't say, oh, this is my family, let me help them out. Oh, no, this is my enemy, let me just say this to stay away from it. Or let me punish. No, they don't have attachment or aversion at all. They have passionless state, pure state. So even though they are observing the whole world, think about it. Let's presume that we opened our cell phone first thing in the morning and saw the news that such and such thing happened, such guy did a bad thing. What happened? Oh, that guy needs to be punished. Or such and such person did good. Oh, that needs to be encouraged. Simply reading the news in which I have no part of it at all. In the other part of the world, something is happening, and here I'm getting my rag and dvesh. Acharya Bhagavan says, when omniscient Lord has reached to that level in which he knows the whole universe, he knows who he was, who were his parents and who were his enemies. He knows all those things. Parshnath Bhagwan, he knew who Kamat is. Kamat kept on giving problem to Parshnath Bhagwan for 10 lives. But once he became omniscient Lord, he has no rag or dvesh. He just simply knows, that's it. So, for this state to progress towards complete passion, from the experiencing state, one would like to do complete passionless state, and while the journey is going on from the beginning of the purity to the complete purity, that journey, during the journey, the rag and dvesh keeps on diminishing in intensity and everything. So, for the householder and monk, they have a milder form of toxic emotions present according to the level of their spiritual progress. And the fourth spiritual developmental state, I have so much rag and dvesh still present. When I go to the fifth spiritual development state, my rag and dvesh becomes somewhat less. When I go to the sixth and seventh spiritual development state, my rag and dvesh are almost back to baseline, almost zero. And then 8th, 9th, and 10th spiritual development state, and all the rag and dvesh gets dissipated completely. So, according to your level of spiritual progress, there are certain amount of rag and dvesh present. Certain amount of inclination of attachment and aversion are present. This state needs to be known but not to be worshipped. I don't know. Oh, I had that much rag and dvesh. Let me keep that. Let me keep that. When I'm improving, today I go through cardiogenic shock. I'm in the hospital. I'm on the deathbed, and doctors started working, and they did surgery and all kind of things they did. I'm on respirator. Now the respirator gradually comes out. Now the respirator came out. I'm still in ICU. I don't need to worship that state because I still am not completely healthy. I need to get out of that ICU. Okay, I came out of the ICU. I'm on the medical floor. Still doesn't have to be completely satisfied with that because my satisfaction is complete health and get out of the hospital. So each state that I go from the deathbed to all this improvement and everything, but they are not to be worshipped. They do come. I do acknowledge that, but I don't worship them. Therefore, one must not discard conventional point of view totally. I have a temperature, 105-degree temperature today. How am I feeling? Extremely bad. Now I started taking antibiotic and I started taking hydrations and everything, and I took medications, and now my temperature came to 102. How do you feel? I feel better. You mean 102 temperature and you feel better? Yes, I feel better compared to 105, but still I'm not better. Tomorrow is 101 temperature. Better than before, but not compared to the total health, not compared to 98.4 degree Fahrenheit temperature. So, therefore, from 105 degree down to total normal, all these states, they come, and that's called conventional point of view. They are not to be discarded at that level. They are present. From here, I'm better, little better, much better, completely healthy. So those are the things we have to keep thinking. Now, conventional point of view is not to be refuted totally. I don't believe in all those things at all. No, they do come. Considering the innate state, it needs to be negated. 105, 102, 101 temperature, but compared to 98.4 temperature, they are they have to be negated completely because I'm still not normal. But its present also needs to be acknowledged that I am improving. Tomorrow I improved better. Now much more improvement. So they are to be thrown out. But they have to be neglected. But still, wherever they are, you have to acknowledge. You don't have to adore those conventional point of view. That's a whole crux of this 12th stanza that we are talking about. Now, we talk so much about from beginning of purity to complete purity and everything. So we still talk about spiritual development state and all those things. What are those things? What is spiritual development state? We keep on saying those things. So let's have the clarity of spiritual development state. This gives an opportunity for us to visit that chapter. We may have taken that chapter before, but it will be wise to revise that one to understand exactly what spiritual development states are. Spiritual development state means gunsthanak. Gunsthanak means soul's internal condition with moh and yog known as spiritual development state. Moh and yog, and we'll define both the words. So there's a soul's condition. Am I totally basket case? Am I improving somewhat and somewhat more and more, or complete purity? Those are the things that is called spiritual development state. So moh means infatuation. Infatuation means my deluding state, My deluding state means my state of anger, deceit, ego, greed, and to have ownership on the alien objects of the universe. This is my pen, my pen. You better don't touch this one because I'll become mad. I have mindness on it. So that is called moh. That's called infatuation. I have anger, deceit, ego, greed within me. I have doership and enjoymentship with the alien objects of the universe. That is called infatuation. Anything in which to get out of the natural state of the soul and to behave otherwise, that's called infatuation. For example, infatuation means if I have a sugar, what's the taste of the sugar? How does sugar have to behave? Well, sugar will give sweet taste no matter what. 1,000 years back, it gives sweet taste. It's giving sweet taste today. 1,000 years down the road, it's going to give sweet taste. In any condition, whenever there is sugar. My wife made the chutney today, and I said, something is missing. And she said, yes, I did not put sugar inside. So, oh yeah, put sugar because that taste is missing. So if the sugar is there, sugar is going to give its own taste of sweetness, no matter where it is, whatever condition it is. So sugar is a matter, non-living matter substance knows what is its own job to provide sweetness. That's its innate state. And me, the conscious natured soul, the highest animal in this hierarchy, with 5 senses and mind also, and I don't remain in my innate state, and I go and project myself with ownership in this lousy pen. I become anger, deceit, ego, greed, which are not my true state. That's called infatuation. This infatuation occurring within me, how can we explain? Well, it's difficult to explain inner condition of the soul, but for that to understand, we take the example of deluding karma. Actually, we take help of all the 8 types of karma. Why we are talking karma? Because so since time infinite in the past, this soul has association with the matter particles. That's why when I'm in the lowest form of life, nigod, in 1 second I'm dying and taking birth again and again and again and again. That kind of state also, I just say at the time, this is my body, this is my body, this is my body. The teeny tiny slightest knowledge he has it, but with that knowledge, that soul is spending on thinking that this is my body, this is my body. So Nigod cell keeps on thinking that body is mine. And then we came to 1 sense, 2 sense, 3 sense, 4 sense, and 5 sense sentient human being. I still think body is mine. If it's too cold, let's have the air heater on. If it's too hot, let's have air conditioning on. And if I'm hungry, let's give. Who is hungry? Is the soul hungry? If the soul is hungry, he's eating since time infinite. He should become huge, huge guy. No, soul doesn't eat. It's a body eats, but then I say, I am hungry. Means body and me are one. I am thirsty. Body is thirsty, but me and body are one. That kind of internal state I have it. To explain that one, I have to help take the help of associated things, and that associated thing is matter. I have association with the matter since time infinite. And which matter do I have association? This pencil, which I bought it 2 months back, and with my luck it will be lost week or 10 days from now, or this Samaysar book that I bought it's going to remain with me forever, or this computer. No, those matter particles are far away from me. This physical body is with me, where this association came since birth, and at the time of death this body will separate out also. Then who has connection with me little bit closer? The closer connection is a karma particle. When the moment I'm dead right now, for example, then the soul will leave this physical body. Soul will leave physical body, and soul will go to transmigrate to other life. While soul leaves this physical body and goes to take the birth into the other physical body, during the transit, karma particle remains with the soul. That means karma particle remains with the soul since time infinite in the past and right now. And if I don't obtain liberation, then material karma will remain with me forever. But I'm not that dumb. I have a great guru and my omniscient Lord and scripture. They taught me who I am, what I should do, how should I do, how should I get rid of this karma association. So ultimately, I will start chipping this karma away one after one after one, and whatever, and ultimately I'll become karma free, and that's called liberation. So I will take the help of this deluding this karma, and out of that karma, deluding karma are the one which are associated with my infatuation state. So that's why we'd like to know the deluding karma. So one thing, the spiritual development state, as we said in this one, it is associated with a moh and yog. This is called moh, means infatuation, and then there is a yog also. Yog means where is the slide? No, okay. Yog means my the vibratory capacity of my space point of the soul. Soul is so, this is the soul, for example. In the soul, there are space points are there. What's a space point means? I take one cube. I take one cube and make it a two-piece, further two-piece, further two-piece, and when I come to a completely undivided form of the last part of that cube, in which I cannot divide, that is called one atomic particle, and that atomic particle occupies a space, and that space is called one space point. That atomic particle is not science atom. Science atom also has proton, neutron, electron, quarks, and all kind of things. But this Jainism atom is far beyond microscopic from that physical atom that we were taught in the schools. So the minutest part of a matter which cannot be further divided, cannot be visualized with any kind of sense organ, and that is called one atomic particle. It occupies the area which is called one space point. And those kind of space point now that we define, those kind of space point in the soul, there are innumerable space points are there. So each space point, this is one space point, this is second one, this is third, this is fourth, this part, is an innumerable space point, and those space points in the soul keeps on vibrating, and that vibratory activity is called yoga. Vibratory activity of the space point of the soul is called yoga. When the
Kirit
vibration,
uncle,
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Just to be clear, do we say that there are asankyat space points, or do we say that there are anant space points in the soul?
Asankyat in a soul.
Okay.
Asankyat in a soul. And what is that asankyat means? The Lokakash also, cosmic space also has a innumerable space point. Soul also has innumerable space point. Now, the soul space points are equal to the space point of the cosmic space. But those space points, their expansion and contractile capacity. So if this soul is in an ant's body, it will be, soul will be of the shape of the ant's body completely. If that soul is an elephant's body, it will have a shape of the elephant's body. And then when that soul gets liberated, it stays at the Adobe of Siddha in the form of last shape of the human body, because only human can achieve liberation. So space point, vibratory activity of the space point is called yoga, and when the vibratory activity of the space point occurs, then as a result, in the physical body, one can see action of the mind, speech, and body. So, mind, speech, and body activity are the matter's work. And here is a vibratory activity, the space point of the soul occurs. They both are independent. They both have, because this vibratory vibratory activity is occurring. As a result of vibratory activity, acting as an instrumental cause, mind, speech, and body's activity occurs. Vibratory activity of the space point of the soul is called yoga, and because of that yoga, there is a mind, speech, and body activity occurs. Instrumental cause is this vibratory activity. They both are entirely separate. Now remember, physical body we can understand, speech we can, but mind, my thought activity is because of vibratory activity, the space point of the soul. That's why this thought activity is also considered as non-living. Remember, we keep on saying thought activity means it is called rag. It is called non-living. So how it is? So we have some better idea now. So the association of yoga and moh, they make spiritual development stages. And so these are the spiritual development stages. So we will be talking about it, that what it means, how this artificial division of the spiritual development stage are erected. Remember, if you go through the sixth stanza, it says that carelessness and careful state. That means first to 6 Gunsthanak, it was called careless state. 7 to 14 Gunsthanak was considered as a careful state. If you remember those things, nathi apramat ke pramat nathi je ek gnayak bhav che. So those are the things we'll be able to understand better with this spiritual development state that we will be going through again in a somewhat detail, so that we have better grab of the subject. Once we understand, everything will start falling into place. Yes.
So does Kanji Swami review the Gunsthanaks for this slok the same way he reviewed it for the 6th slok?
No. I decided, because we had gone through that apramat pramat state and everything, And now that we are coming to this one, in which we are saying that from 4th to 12th Gunstana, there is also convention point of view and everything to better understand the intricacy what Gurudev is going to talk about. It's going to make our base somewhat clear. That's why. So it is not his thing right now. This is what we are just inserting this subject inside. So the Gursthanak subject, we are separately inserting this one. It's not there. Up to here was the beginning of the stanza, in the sense the heading of the stanza was there, which he has described in the lectures. Any questions so far?
Kirit uncle, I have a question, but it's more related to yesterday's Swadhyay. If you don't mind, can I ask it?
Go ahead, please.
In the Shastras, Asankyat has a definition, the one with the the very fine hay, taking one by one. Was that I forgot. Was there a definition given in the Shastras for Asankyat?
Asankyat, yes.
Or no?
There is a definition. I mean, there is a definite definition is there. And even, I tried to go through it, and it is so detailed that I got lost halfway into it. But it says, yes, there's a well that you put some of the marbles in the well, and every so many years, thousands years or whatever years, you throw one well to the other well, and something like that. There is a description in Gomatsar.
Okay. You gave us that, I remember, and it has very fine hairs, and they're packed very tightly. That's the one, right?
No, that is for the time. This is for the Asankyat, and it is mind-boggling. And a few times I tried, and halfway I got. I mean, one time I understood, second time I got lost, and third time I said, well, what difference does it make to me? Because when I asked one of my mentor, and he says, there's so many facts are there, and how it is helpful to us. It's merely knowing or to go in extreme detail will help me out. I have limited time, and I have to achieve unlimited thing. So I put that little kind of a boundary around and say, okay, I don't want to spend my time too much into that. But informations are there. Yes, if you want to go through, there's informations there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll start next week, and we'll in one class, I think, hopefully we'll finish this Gunsthanak, and so that way we have better understanding, and then we'll have meaning of the stanza, and all the thing will start. Okay. Any other questions so far? Well, if there is none, then we can just do the closing. Okay. जावानी के ज्ञान से सूझे लो कालो, सोवाणी मस्तक नमो सदा देत हूँ लो. 9 times नमो का मंत्र. Jai Jinendra. Thank you.